everyone, it's Shanna from the Five and Family Homestead, and today we are going to talk about pool chemicals and maintenance on the pool. First, we got a little housekeeping we need to do. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that now. Hit the like button and the bell notification so you will know when we upload any new videos. The second thing is a disclaimer. I do not know, I don't even know how to say it. I am not a professional pool person at all. It's been 5 years of me doing trial and error, so that is the number one disclaimer. So I hope that no one goes in and watches this and feels the need to comment that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I'm already going to tell you I don't really know what I'm talking about. I've had several people, if you don't already know, we have 2 videos on the Coleman pool that are out, and we'll link both of those. The first one was when we first bought the pool a year ago, and the second one was a year later review, and both have done really well. And one thing I get asked over and over again is what chemicals I use for the pool. So I was reluctant to do that because, again, it's everyone's preference and I'm not a professional, but I thought, you know, I do have friends that have above ground pools that I've helped over the years make their pools cleaner, and some have turned green, and I've helped them get it back to clear. And so I just thought I'd share with you guys what I do. It's pretty simple, it's pretty basic. I know an above ground pool can kind of be overwhelming at first. A lot of people may buy a pool and think if you just throw some chlorine tablets in it and you have a filter, that's enough. And unfortunately, it's just not. You're going to have to make sure your chemicals are balanced, and that can be tricky. So this is what I do for our pool. I will start off by saying our pool is 16,500 gallon pool. That's a lot of water. We started out at a very small pool very early on. I can't even, babe, do you even remember?
It was like 32 inches by like 12 feet.
It was small. I mean, our Easton was like 4 at the time, and he could touch. But anyways, so I started out with that. I'm not really going to go into equipment on this one because I've gone over it before, so I'm just going to stick with the chemicals. So first things first, the main thing in my pool that I make sure I always have balanced is going to be the chlorine and the pH. And I use these chemicals right here. These are my go-to chemicals. I buy these at Walmart. A lot of people prefer other brands. I've used the other brands like HTH and all of that, and I just have not found it to work as good as these Clorox brands. And I feel like this is kind of middle of the road if you're just going to a big box store to buy them. I feel like this is kind of in the middle. Of course, you can go to any pool company and they're going to have the grandioso of all pool supplies, but this is what I use. It's inexpensive. It's effective for us. So I'll just kind of go through that. So again, first thing I always do is I do make sure my chlorine and my pH is balanced. I use, this is my shock that I use, and then this is, I usually use these two in conjunction with each other. I use them at the same time. Depending on what my levels are of my water, I either use a pH down or a pH up. And you ask, okay, well, how do you measure your water? I have this handy dandy tool right here. Again, I usually use the Clorox brand, but the winter storm actually ruined my tester, so I had to use my mom's. But anyways, I test my water first and I see what needs to come up. Most of the time I have to shock it, and I will use this. Now, as far as how much I use of this product, it's going to be based on the size of your pool. I've done this enough that I know where my chlorine needs to be, and I know how much I need to use. Clorox gives you a very, very simple, easy to read instructions on how much you should use. So that's going to be my suggestion. You're just going to have to follow the directions on the back of the bottles to make sure you do the correct amount that you need. How often do I maintain a pool? How often do I do the shock, and how often do I put the pH up or down in it? It's usually, right now, because of the winter going into the spring, going into the summer, we've got cooler days, it's not quite as hot. So I usually, every 2 weeks I'm doing it. I'm finding that that's about how long it lasts. But that brings me to my other thing. These are chlorine tablets. These are the 1-inch chlorine tablets. Now, Walmart does not carry the 1-inch chlorine tablets in our area. So I had to go to Academy to find these. I know they have 3-inch chlorine tablets. I don't like them. I don't find they dissolve as well. And when they get to the bottom, the 3 inches kind of clump up and it kind of goes into the pool, and I just prefer the smaller ones. They dissolve a lot better.
So how do you know when to use the up and the down?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like on the you're going to test your levels on this, and this is going to show you your chlorine and your pH, and then it kind of gives you, I don't know if you guys are going to see it. So on this side is your pH, and it's going to tell you where ideal is, and if your pH is high or if your pH is low. And then that's going to be based on how much you add into the pool. This will be your chlorine side, same thing, depending on how the color of the, you add 5 drops of water to these and it will turn the color, and you kind of just gauge it off of that. Now, Clorox does have an app that you can use. I don't like that either. I don't feel like it is accurate. They also have the strips. Again, not a fan of them. I just do a trusty old put water in it, put the drops in, and it kind of gives me my answers that I need. So the chlorine tablets, I don't have my bobber. So my bobber stays in my pool all the time, and I keep it filled with the 1-inch chlorine tablets all the time. Again, the 3-inch to 1-inch tablets is a preference. Y'all know where I stand with it. So the next thing would be the algae side. This is an algae side with a clarifier. Sometimes you can find an algae side by itself, and then you have to use a clarifier, because oftentimes when you use an algae side by itself, it'll cloud your water a little bit, and then you have to go back and use a clarifier. I found this last summer, and I love it. It works so well because it's got both of them in one. Now, what do you use an algae side for? It's to get the grime and the, the algae
build up,
killing any like not bacteria, like
growth.
Yeah, thanks, babe. It's my director behind me. Any growth in the pool. Right now, I use this like once a month, but in the summertime, it's sometimes once a week, because of course the water gets hotter and more things grow on the bottom of the pool, the liner. So this is my go-to for my algae side, and it's got a clarifier, and it will turn your pool like crystal blue after you use it. It's really nice. So to sum everything up, I test my water right now, and today is April, the end of April. Once, sometimes twice a week, I will test it with my tester. You test your water, you look at your levels based on, you put the drops in the water from your pool, and then you look on the little sliding scale and determine how much you need. You either need to use pH up, you need to use pH down, and you'll shock it. A lot of times after a big rain, you might need to use a pH down. Rain contains high levels of pH, and you'll see that your pH gets really, really high if you have a really heavy rain that fills your water up. So a lot of times after a big rain, even if I've shocked it like a couple days before and I get a heavy rain, I check it again to see where my levels are at. A lot of times it will sometimes deplete my chlorine, and it will raise my pH, and I've got to get everything back to normal. Okay, my maintenance, how do I maintain it? A lot of people have asked me what I do. So this is what I do. First, I will check my levels, and again, I will shock it, and I will use either a pH up or pH down, and then I will let my pump run for 8 to 10 hours, usually 10 hours on the high side. I will let that run for 10 hours. After that is done, I'll backwash my filter. It is important to do that because if you think about it, you've shocked your pool, and the water's in the filter, and then you're just pushing that water back in. So after it's filtered itself through, I backwash it, and then I sweep it and I vacuum it. I have a handheld vacuum that I use, and then I just sweep the bottom of it. And then once I do that, it stirs everything up. So this is all in the same time frame. I will go on the outside edge of my pool, and I will just kind of dribble this along the outside of the pool. Now, my pool takes this full gallon of algaecide. Again, it's 16,500 gallons, so I use the whole thing. I think I read the other day I probably could get away with using 1.5, but 1 has been fine, so I'm not going to put any more than that in there. Dribble on the outside of the pool, and then I let my pump run again for 8 to 10 hours and let that stuff filter through. Once the algaecide has filtered through, I sweep and I vacuum again at that point. It's going to get anything that's loosened up that hasn't gone through the filter. It's going to loosen that up and you're going to be able to get it up. And then I backwash the pump again. And then you're good to go until you have to shock it and do the pH levels the next time. Trying to think of what else I need to say because this is a lot. I've never taken my water to be tested at any of the local pool companies. They offer that. Most of them in our area offer it for free. If you feel intimidated by any of this, go up there and have them tested. I've had friends that have done that before and they've told them exactly what they have, and the pool company is able to tell them what they needed to add and what they needed to take it away. I have been doing this for so long that I know what I need to do, and I've only in the last 2 years, in the last 2 years, I've only had my pool turn green 1 time, and that was because our pool ladder rusted into it. I've been able to maintain it when it's 110 degrees in Texas. Yeah. So these are just my things that I do, but if you feel more comfortable taking it to a pool store, they also add stuff that I have no idea what chemical that is, so these are just the basics that I use. So I hope that is helpful. I am open anytime if anyone wants to message me or ask questions. I will do my best to answer them. Well, I just feel like I've got enough under my belt that I feel confident enough that I can tell you kind of what I do. And if you want to follow it, you can. And if not, you can move on from it. So again, this is all from Walmart. You can buy it on Amazon too. I think it's the same price-ish. But we have a local Walmart, so we just go there. All right, another real quick thing that has nothing to do with chemicals. We've had a lot of people comment on our deck and wanting us to review our deck and how we built it. The deck has already been built. We built it last year. If you guys want, comment below and we'd be more than happy to give you a tour as far as what supplies we used, how we built it, not really a how-to step-by-step, but what tools we used and kind of where we put things and what our thought process was. We also have a video. We did a DIY stair stringer that we can share with you guys on how to make it, because our steps were really tall and we did not have a stringer that we could buy, so we made our own. But y'all comment below if that's something you're interested in. We'll be more than happy to give you that tour as well. I think that's it, guys. I hope this helps you. Again, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. It's no cost to you, and if you don't like us, you can unsubscribe at any time, but it does help us with views and everything else. All right, guys, let us know if you'll need anything. See you later. Bye.